Hello and welcome to another episode of Ask a Grimm. Hey everybody, and welcome to another episode. So, finally got the review up. A little bit of a surprise there, but gave the shorts a try. I may do that for some of the other what-ifs that don't really have much changes to it. And, so without any further delay, let's begin. Thank you all once again for asking your questions. Unova XY asks, can you review DC Superhero Girls 2019? I will add that to the request list. NicoSafer1 asks, have you played any of the Resident Evil games? Actually, yes. I played the first one. It wasn't really my thing. Not so much tank controls, but general game just did not feel that great. Not my cup of tea. First game syndrome, basically. But I did play Resi 4. That was really good. I'm interested to try out the other games, though. But so far, 1 and 4. AJustice90 asks, what was your favorite Keyblade in KH3, and have you read fanfiction, and so, for what series? Favorite Keyblade, I want to say the one you get from Hercules' world. Either that or the Ultimate Weapon. Really good stuff. As for fanfiction, of course. I read some for Sonic back in the day, Zelda, I think I read Hamtaro ones. But yeah, I used to read a lot of fanfiction for series that I was interested. I don't do that much nowadays, just because I have other stuff to do. But yeah, I used to read fanfiction back in the day. Xans Priness asks, which world of KH1 is the most difficult and why? What crossover would you like to see and why, if they're done right? And any thoughts on Trevor Noah? For Kingdom Hearts 1, I'd argue the most difficult of the worlds was probably Atlantica, and that's more so because they did not do the swimming controls all that well. Which is also unfortunate because KH3 managed to do that really well, but that's hindsight talking. It's mainly the swimming controls and also the progression of the stage. Not exactly my cup of tea. As for crossovers I'd like to see, most of them have probably been done, so I guess honestly at this rate, probably One Piece and Pirates of the Caribbean. Although at this point, considering how popular One Piece is, would not be surprised that already exists.
Tell me! The One Piece! The One Piece is real!
And as for my thoughts on Trevor Noah, from what I've looked into, particularly his comments regarding women and historical events, fucking yikes. Robin Crusoe Jr T asks, are you excited for Fire Emblem Engage, and any thoughts on the Alec Baldwin situation? Fire Emblem Engage looks interesting. Not too much of a Fire Emblem fan, but it looks promising, and hopefully it's good for fans that are of the Fire Emblem variety. That was terrible wording, my apologies. And as for the Alec Baldwin situation, I'm assuming you mean the whole Rust situation? Yeah, I don't think Alec Baldwin did anything wrong. It was basically a case of he was just doing what was instructed, and the person in charge of the guns was a massive idiot, and unfortunately shot somebody. Why would you not have blanks for several shots, and why would you have live ammunition? It's not even getting into the Rust worker situation. Apparently they weren't paid that well, which, whole other can of worms. The development of Rust sounds like an utter fucking disaster, and I would not be surprised if we get a documentary on the production before we get the movie ever released, if it ever does come out. But yeah, those are my thoughts. SSJSora asks, any thoughts on the Journey's Master Day tournament, and have you watched Generator Rex? My thoughts on the Journey's Master Day tournament are, it's fine. There's some really good matchups, like with Ash and Iris versus Cynthia. But on the other hand, Leon versus Elenh was certainly a surprise, and the Diantha one could have been handled better. I think they should have just moved past that whole thing. But then again, some people would have whined, like, oh, why are they not giving this attention? And then when they do, it's like, oh, why not give it this much attention? Like, it's a fucking disaster either way. But I think it's fine. And I'm interested to see how they're going to handle the Ash vs. Leon finale. As for Generator Rex, have not seen it because I didn't have Cartoon Network when I was growing up. And that was pretty much a Cartoon Network exclusive. I don't know if Canada even had Generator Rex. Or if it did, it was after I grew out of watching TV. Or at least on stuff like Teletoon. But no, I haven't seen it. I've heard good things about it, though.
Buy this.
CaptainSmartiyePants asks, any thoughts on Hirohei, and have you watched the Raccoons cartoon? Hirohei. I do not like Hirohei. At all. It's another fucking grifter channel, much like Quartering. If anything, I'd just call him a fucking diet Quartering every now and again, because that's pretty much what he is.
Security system takes control of Squidward's house and begins attacking the city.
As for the cartoon about the raccoons, I have not seen it. I've seen some bits of it in memes, like pictures. That's about it. It looks interesting, but No, I haven't seen it yet. Kill9000Jin567 asks, have you read the Zootopia manga? I'm assuming you mean Beastars? And no, I haven't been. Mostly an anime-only viewer. I am, however, familiar with the I Will Survive comic. Which... Pain. It sucks. Master Wolf Gan Jik asks, have you ever heard of Hypnotist Sappho, and did you play Tekken? I am very much familiar with what Hypnotist Sappho has done. Very scummy shit. Not a fan. And have I ever played Tekken? I'm not much of a fighting game fan outside of Smash Bros. So I haven't played Tekken. Jim Kourtoullopoullos asks, again, sorry for the butchering, have you played any Xenoblade games? What do you think of people hating on Brie Larson? And any thoughts on Rick and Morty? I have not played any of the Xenoblade games. They look promising though, but haven't played them yet. What do I think of people hating on Brie Larson? I think it's stupid. Like, I get not liking their performance as Captain Marvel and something else, but when it gets to the point of attacking the person, that's going too far. I don't like that shit. And I think some of the hate Brie got was a little bit fucking stupid, and that's putting it nicely. Like, you can hate the character, perfectly fine. No issue with that. You can also criticize the portrayal. When you go to attack the person behind the character, though, is when I take issue with it. As for Rick and Morty, I saw a couple episodes of Season 3. I thought it was fine. Haven't gotten into it outside of that, because I'm just not that interested. Omega Surfer Fan-Boi 2000 asks, have you played Sonic Omens, and have you heard about kiwi farms being shut down? Okay, let's deal with the second question really quick. This was posted before, I want to say, kiwi farms came back, so that was the thing. I kind of figured it would come back, since they were only dropped from the DDoS service, but details. And have I played Sonic Omens? No, but I'm tempted to. If only because I want to rip into it. Sorry for the butchering of this next one. Robotototodo asks, have you seen Kai's White video on Omnia and Thuman? Do you think that Yamcha deserves the hate? And any thoughts on Chris McFeely? I have not seen Kai White, largely because I don't want to give them attention. So, no, I haven't seen it. But it's probably a disaster fire. Do I think Yamcha deserves the hate? No. No, they're just a jobber like so many other characters, and if anything, I'm more so just pissed at Toriyama for writing him as the fucking jobber, because it's like, can you not come up with anything creative? As for Chris McFeely, never really heard of them until this question, and from what I'm looking up, Fan-Boi X Jr asks, have you played Animal Crossing? Any thoughts on John Oliver? What do you think is the weakest fighter in Final Fantasy VII, and do you think Waluigi deserved a lot better? I played Animal Crossing, at least New Horizons and New Leaf. I haven't played the other games, though. John Oliver, I think I know who you're referring to with that. I've seen a couple clips. He's fine. Weakest fighter in 7 probably would be Vincent, I want to say. But then again, it's kind of unfair for me to say that since Vincent was an optional character, so it kind of adds up that he's not going to get a lot of chances to be buffed. And then as for Waluigi, yeah, I'd say so. MarvelSquirrelBoyFan asks, have you seen Miss Anthroponi/Zayd Magenta's update video, and any thoughts on WWE? Yes, I've seen the update video. It was a thing. If anything, though, I'm honestly looking forward to how the fuck he's going to address Mass Effect 3, because considering stuff like his Last Jedi video, it makes me wonder if he's going to rehash old fucking arguments people used on this game way back in the day, which were fucking faulty and or arguments I don't agree with.
Yeah, never mind the fact those languages are from civilizations millions and millions of years older than even the Prothean Empire.
A few moments later.
And the only reason other squad mates were able to understand Vigil was because he was able to program his communication so they can understand him.
Oh, you suck at this!
As for WWE, I do not watch WWE, so I don't have much thoughts on it. Atreas licok asks, have you watched Linlin's video on Nekokoda, and which member of the Organization 13 is the weakest as a fighter and character? Yes, I've seen Linlin's video. It was a thing. That's about it. And as for the weakest as a fighter, probably Zexion, if only because his is mostly reliant on magic, and at least with Look Sword / Loose Sword, he can at least attack with the fucking cards. A lot of Zexion's attacks are just relying on magic, which doesn't really do it for me. I guess as a character, I hate this character so much. Larxene is a bitch. and she is easily the most uninteresting, which is saying a lot considering Marluxia exists, but at least Marluxia gets stuff in KH3. Larxene just whines in a good majority of the fucking game, so that doesn't help. Which is unfortunate because her and Xion are like two of the only Organization 13 members, and Larxene is a bitch, and Xion is dead for a good majority of the fucking series. Darth Deathkiller09 asks, have you played any of the Castlevania games, and any thoughts on Gordon Ramsay? Yes, I played the Castlevania games. I played 1, a bit of 3, a bit of 4. I played Dracula X. I played Symphony of the Night. I played the GBA games. I can't remember their names off the top of my head. And that's about it. But yes, I played them. And Gordon Ramsay? I think he's good. I think he's a good chef, and I used to enjoy the hell out of Hell's Kitchen, phrasing aside. I still need to get back into watching Hell's Kitchen, because I was on a binge of those series for a while. I just haven't gotten back into it, because I think I finished with Rookies vs. Veterans. No, I know it was All-Stars I finished. I gotta get into Rookies vs. Veterans. Anyways. Yeah, I think he's good. Angry Cowboy asks, any thoughts on Dr. Todd Grande, and have you watched Spy vs. Spy? Todd Grande... they exist. I don't have much information / an opinion on them. As for Spy vs. Spy, I've seen some ads back in the day, but I haven't watched the series. Outside of that, the only other thing I'm familiar with, was back when a commentator known as Spy in Jeopardy commentated on my, Naughty Presents episode on Canadian PSAs, because they used the, White Spy, I believe. Dark Goofy from WW2 asks, have you watched Futurama, and any thoughts on Bruce Stu films? I used to watch Futurama back in the day. It was alright. And Bruce Stu films... they exist. Another channel I haven't really got much of an opinion on. CaptainFlamingoFan asks, what is the weirdest PS2 game you've played, and have you watched the Blue Dragon anime? Weirdest PS2 game that I played, probably this Kim Possible game. I didn't own many other PS2 games outside of KH2 and the like. And then, outside of that, I think I saw one episode of the Blue Dragon anime back in the day, and then that was it. I haven't really seen much else. Aunt ASD asks, have you played any of the Zelda games, and what do you think of fan service in anime? I pretty much played every main series Zelda game. There's a couple that were Japanese only that I haven't touched. But outside of that, I like most of them except for the ones I bitched about, like Twilight Princess. But yeah, I would say a good majority of the Zelda games are pretty good. And I've pretty much played most of the main series. As for fan service in anime, not a big fan, especially nowadays, because the internet exists for that shit. I don't need it in my anime, personally. Sister Babe Ob0 asks, any thoughts on Mauler, and have you watched The Incredibles 2? Mauler feels like one of those long-ass analyst channels who just blow a lot of hot air instead of actually saying something of substance. And as for Incredibles 2, have not seen it, and I'm hearing mixed things regarding it, so I don't know if I should. Sexy Foxy Lady Commando number 123 asks, any thoughts on Mel Blanc, and what do you think of Teen Titans Go? I liked Mel Blanc as a VA. He's greatly missed. Yeah, I think he was a good VA. Good stuff. As for Teen Titans Go, it existed. I wasn't there when people were bitching about the show, just because I didn't give a fuck about the original Teen Titans, so I wasn't going to check out Go anyways. But it exists. Commando Big Lady Officer asks, are you aware that Netflix canceled a lot of animated projects, and what do you think of PewDiePie? Yes, I'm very much aware of Netflix canceling a lot of animated projects, and it's shit like this that makes me think that nowadays, when it comes to animation, the better alternative is to go indie, because this shit is ridiculous. As for PewDiePie, he exists. I haven't heard him in any real controversy as of late, so maybe he's doing okay, / gotten better. It's hard to say. But he exists. Girl AHJ asks, have you played any of the Tomb Raider games, and any thoughts on Daft Pina? Yes, I played a few of the Tomb Raider games. I'm more familiar with the current reboot series, the one with the emphasis on the survival aspect. The one that a lot of people on my Twitter seem to hate. The one with the bow and arrow, basically, on the cover. That one. Played that. That was pretty good. I tried getting into the original PlayStation version. The tank controls just weren't doing it for me. And other times, I tried to get into the first attempt at a reboot with the Legacy stuff, I believe, or Chronicles. It wasn't doing it for me. But that was years ago. I may give it a second shot in the future, so it's hard to say. As for Daft Pina, not a big fan of their content. Elenh Karakiou asks, again, sorry for the mispronunciation, Have you watched Extreme Ghostbusters, and any thoughts on Electric Dragon 505, aka Animat? I've heard of Ghostbusters Extreme. I have not watched it, though. I'm not the biggest fan of Animat, whether it be his videos or his podcast shit. That stuff is a mess, and don't even get me started on the Vic Mignogna shit, because that was a fucking goddamn mess. BlaCkNuurseVVitchUi asks, did you miss the old layout of YouTube, and have you watched Kim Possible? I'm indifferent to the old YouTube layout. It was somewhat my cup of tea, but also wasn't. It was alright. And I'm used to the new one, but looking at the old one, it's okay. And as for Kim Possible, yeah, I used to watch it back in the day. I don't know if it's aged well since I haven't seen it in a long time, but it was alright for the time. Princess Fan Lady 2000 asks, any thoughts on the Spy Family anime, and have you played Attack and the Power of Juju? I've heard/seen some clips of the anime, really wholesome shit, but I haven't watched it outside of that, but it looked good. And as for Attack and the Power of Juju, no, I haven't played it, but probably in the future. Worst channel you've ever seen is asking, what's the next video going to be, and when will you do one of the videos I requested? To address the latter, kind of already did that with the Caesar surviving short, I believe. And as for the next video, I have no idea. It's basically whatever comes to mind. So maybe I'll do a video on Clone Out After Story, hopefully. But we'll see. It kind of flip-flops every now and again. Fangirl Poison Ivy Girl Fan asks, what do you think of DBZ's Ocean dub, and any thoughts on John Swan? I thought the Ocean dub was fine. Not anything notable, but it was alright for the time.
It's Big Green!
And John Swan, not the biggest fan of their content. Mega Harley Quinn Fangirl asks, since you were able to answer the woke word here something similar, what does the term neo-Nazi mean? And any thoughts on Illuminati? To me, what I define as a neo-Nazi is someone who follows the Nazi ideology or what they did in present day, hence the term neo-Nazi. As for where it came from, I honestly wouldn't be surprised if it came from after the Second World War ended, because there were still fans of the Nazi regime for whatever fucking reason. And any thoughts on Illuminati? I'm not the biggest fan of their content. Common Homer Simpson asks, whatever happened to Silver from the SEC? What do you think of Staxolotl? And any thoughts on Nihilistic Snake? Silver's around doing their own thing, just doing Twitter stuff and Twitch streams, I think, every now and again. Outside of that, they're just existing. I don't watch a lot of Staxolotl's content, so I'm kind of indifferent on them. And Nihilistic Snake, I used to not like them. Nowadays, they seem to be doing okay. / balancing out or mellowed out in recent years. I don't know, though. It seems like they're doing okay. And the final question comes from the Sleepy Commentator. Whatever happened to Dirtbike Redden? Any thoughts on long commentary videos? What do you think of people using real people as avatars in their commentaries? For what happened to Dirtbike Redden, he just stopped doing commentaries after a while and just kind of fell into real life stuff. So he's just vibing, much like Silver. Long commentary videos, they're good for audio listening / background noise, but I think they're harmless at the end of the day. As long as there's not massive pace breakers, then I think they're fine. And as for real people using as avatars, sorry for the terrible phrasing there, honestly, I'm indifferent to it. I did it like once way back in the day, and I'm not the biggest fan of it nowadays, but people use fucking anime avatars and cartoon avatars, so I don't view it as a big deal at the end of the day. It's a little bit awkward, but then I realized, hey, if people use fucking anime shit / cartoons or video game characters, they're like, why not? I don't see it as a big deal. So that takes care of every question for this installment. Thank you all so much for asking your questions. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully next month I will be back for another installment of Ask a Grimm. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them in the comments below. And thank you all for watching. Have a great day, everyone.